We turn now to a major anniversary for the United States Air Force. The military branch is celebrating its 75th year this month. Throughout its history, the Air Force has distinguished itself with innovation and cutting-edge technology. Now, it faces challenges like low recruitment numbers and escalating tensions overseas from Europe to Asia. Frank Kendall was sworn in as Air Force Secretary in 2021. He is a West Point graduate and served as an Army officer for 11 years. Secretary Kendall, good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
So I had the opportunity before the pandemic to spend some time with the 8th Fighter Wing in Gunsan, South Korea. And I was up in a backseat of an F-16. And this wasn't a joyride. We were actually on a training mission to the DMZ where Captain Clisette simulated a bomb drop on an enemy target and surface-to-air missile evasion. And I just thought to myself, I remember thinking to myself, this is the cutting edge of the Air Force. And we could see the enemy from the cockpit. In this world that is changing right now, what does the future of air combat look like 20 years from now?
We're working hard right now on the next generation of air dominance. The two premier aircraft we have in the inventory today as fighters are the F-35 and the F-22. The F-35 is the newer of the two. The F-22 has been around for a long time. We're moving to a replacement program for that, and we're well down the road on that. We're also introducing the idea of uncrewed combat aircraft, which would be under the control of a manned aircraft, but provide additional tactical capability and be managed by that manned aircraft, working together essentially as a family of systems.
Mr. Secretary, I'd love to talk about recruitment for a second. We mentioned challenges. It's across all four branches of the military. And one of the issues is not only finding people who want to serve, but finding people who qualify to serve. Some of the Pentagon's own data suggests that more than 70% of 17 to 24-year-olds, young people in this country, do not meet the educational, psychological, or physical requirements. That's a national security issue, is it not?
It is. The Air Force is meeting its recruiting goals for our active force. We're a little bit short this year on the Guard and Reserve, and we're doing a number of things to address that. Basically, the opportunity to serve in the military, particularly for me, the Air Force or the Space Force, is a tremendous opportunity, and we just need to communicate that to people. You get a chance to do interesting, exciting, and important work. You get to serve your country. You get to prepare yourself for a career either in the service or outside of it. In a very positive way. So we're actively upping our recruiting game.
I was going to ask you what's your pitch, and you've just sort of laid out the pitch very nicely.
I wasn't going to miss the opportunity.
I find the pitch to be very, very compelling. I almost went to a service academy out of high school, but it does concern me looking at the number of young people who don't, even if they want to serve, they can't. I mean, how do you change that?
We're making some modifications for where people are going to have jobs that aren't as physically demanding as some military jobs. Space Force, for example, is making some changes there. Some jobs in the Air Force. Some jobs require a lot of physical capability. Almost all of our jobs require reasonable mental capability, intellectual capability. So we're doing some things to adjust on our side as well.
You also mentioned Space Force. Can you just, what exactly is it? Who gets to join? Who gets to play? And how does that work? What are your goals there? Because we all hear the term Space Force. It means many things to different people.
The Space Force is now coming up on 3 years old. It was created primarily out of Air Force units, but also units from the Navy and the Army as well. It's a relatively small service. It's similar in some ways to the Marine Corps being part of the Department of the Navy, in that the Space Force is part of the Department of the Air Force.
How many people in Space Force would you say?
Active duty, it's about 8,500. So it's relatively small, but it's very important. The mission is critical to our national security. The programs that they do and the services that they provide, as well as the ability to contest for control of space, which is becoming increasingly necessary, is a really important mission.
Mr. Secretary, I've got a genuine question about UFOs, not as like little green men and aliens, but the idea that there could be some sort of technology out there.
He said, I'm going to take a sip of
water.
Yeah,
you got the Secretary to laugh and smile for a moment there, so I think that's a good question.
No, I mean, the UFO
question... He said, what's wrong with little green men?
I mean, there's military video of aviators who have seen things that cannot be explained, right? And there's an active investigation. I think the worry is not that it's little green men, but that it's another country with technology that we've not seen before. So from where you sit, are UFOs a real issue?
To be quite honest, not for me. I have real threats that I worry about every day, and they're severe threats. I'm aware of, I don't have direct responsibility for investigating these phenomena. I've looked at the reports. I've seen what's been there. There are things that we haven't been able to explain. But I think that the important thing for us to do is do some real technical investigation of what they are and try to resolve these.
I'm curious about what you really do worry about. You said it's not a worry for you. What do you really worry about as you sit here today with us?
China, China, China. I came back into government after being out for 15 years in 2010. And I observed right away that China was, from the intelligence reports, that China was trying to field a set of capabilities designed to defeat the United States in the vicinity of China, to deny us the ability to project power close to the vicinity of China. And in the last dozen years, they've continued down that path. They've been fairly open-minded and innovative, technically reasonably sophisticated. They have identified what they think are the high-value targets for them to attack. It includes things like aircraft carriers, our forward air bases, and our satellites in space. And so we have a formidable problem there that we have to address.
And so when people say that, why are you spending money on the next generation of fighters, F-22s and F-35s, when we have aircraft already capable of destroying 95% of the world's air forces, you say, because we're not focused on those threats, this is the threat.
The pacing challenge, as we call it, is China, and it's because of their military modernization program. They have the resources, they have the strategic intent, they have the capability and the scale to basically contest the United States' dominance. We've been very comfortable with our position of dominance since the first Gulf War. Too comfortable, frankly. I was a Cold Warrior. I spent the first 20 years of my career worrying about the Soviet Union. So I know viscerally what it is like to have a peer competitor. We have one. And if I were to characterize China today, I'd say it is more severe of a competitor than the Soviet Union was.
In 1983, you're saying.
You celebrate your 75th anniversary. You're still new to the job. You like it?
I love the job. I've got a great leadership team. I've got a very important mission that everybody's dedicated to and performing very well at. It's a very professional organization. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to lead.
Secretary Kendall, congratulations on 75 years. The Air Force, not you personally, but the Force itself. And it is a great option for young people. You can get where you want to go by joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.